Channel 2, New York.
CBS presents this program in color.
This is Neil Myers. She's engaged to be married. 2 days after she got her diamond engagement ring, she lost it down a New York subway grating. The man who paid for that ring is Neil's fiancé, Michael O'Hara. Is this Michael O'Hara? Is this Michael O'Hara? Or is this Neil Myers' fiancé, Michael O'Hara? Well, we'll soon find out as they try to fool this panel. Bert Convy, sitting in for Peggy Cass, who's in Australia, Joanna Barnes, Orson Bean, Kitty Carlisle, plus 100 people in our studio audience on To Tell the Truth. This portion of To Tell the Truth is brought to you by Get Set Hair Setting Lotion and now new Get Set Gel.
Some girls wouldn't dare punish a hairdo like this. But she's got bounce-back body, the kind you get when you're set with Get Set. Beautiful body that won't crush out, won't brush out. Get Set hair setting gel or lotion for bounce-back body.
This wig costs $300. It looks natural, shiny, easy to manage. This tube of Alberto VO5 hairdressing costs about $1. It makes hair look natural, shiny, and easy to manage. If your hair is dull, dry, hard to keep pretty, you can hide it with a wig for $300 or buy a tube of VO5 hairdressing for about $1. It's your money and your hair.
And now here's our host on To Tell the Truth, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good afternoon, panel.
Afternoon, Bud.
Good afternoon, Bud.
That's what I like. Everything right on their toes.
God, you look good.
Neil and Michael's story about losing the engagement ring down the subway grating, of course, made headlines in the New York newspapers. They searched for 11 hours, I believe, and even enlisted the help of the transit authority, but to no avail. We start the first part of our game with Orson B. Orson?
Well, normally you see old guys over every subway grating with a string with a piece of gum on the end of it or something like that. Was surprised. Why couldn't you find it? Did it get buried in the grund?
Well, we never found it, so we don't know what happened to it.
Well, you sure it rolled down the hole?
Yes, we're positive it went down there. We both saw it go down the grate. But we think it probably hopped out of this little ledge that holds it and then down onto the platform where the people walk.
Yes.
So somebody could have seen it down there.
Oh, what a shame.
Kitty?
You think this fella's gonna marry you anyway?
I hope so.
But when is the marriage set for?
July 13th.
You better hurry up.
Bert Convy?
Now, what is he going to do? Is he going to buy you another ring, do you think?
No, he's not.
He says, that's it, sweetheart.
He does, and I do too. I couldn't stand it. If I had another one, I'd probably lose it.
Think of the pressure, you're right.
Joanna?
What was the reaction? Were you fiddling with it and it fell off? What was the reaction? I mean, did you just stare or cry or scream or what?
Well, I cried, and Michael didn't say a word.
In shock.
Which is very unusual for him.
Orson?
My dear, tell me why you were fiddling with this ring.
Why was
What
I
did it
fiddling
mean
with
that you were fiddling with taking it on and off? And...
Well, I was explaining to Michael that it was a little bit big.
Oh, I see.
And I had just spoken to my mother that day who said there was this new kind of little ring guard that didn't show and it did so many wonderful things. And I said, see, because if I don't get one, if I do like this, and
that's
it
the
did it.
saddest thing I ever heard. Your mother did it.
Kitty?
Let me ask you something. Do you know anything about Freud?
A little bit.
Well, Freud would have said, perhaps, that you didn't want the ring at all, and you also didn't want the man who went with it. Do you think that's possible?
No, I think Freud hadn't met him. That's the trouble.
I'll buy that. Bert Convy?
That's a very good answer, but nevertheless, how about your past record? Do you have a history of losing things? Now, be honest.
I guess I do.
You do.
And that's all the time we have for this preliminary questioning. You learned a little about Neil and her fiancé, Michael. We'll ask the gentlemen to come in from the soundproofed room now, if they will. All right, panel, let's see if you can find out which of these gentlemen is engaged to Neil Myers. We'll start the questioning with Joanna Barnes.
Number 2, exactly what was her first reaction when this happened?
Well, she was very definitely shocked and couldn't believe it, but both of us thought we'd get it back. We knew exactly where it went in the subway grate.
I see. Number 3, what was her first reaction?
Hers?
Yes.
Surprise, fear, little fear.
Number 1?
Michael, my ring.
I see. Number 1, you seem to have the same accent as your fiancée. Where are you from?
Oh, I was imitating her.
Oh, you were? Yeah, I see that now. Sorry about that. Number 2, are you going on a honeymoon?
Yes, and we won't say where.
Oh, sorry.
Orson.
Number 3 now, why don't you buy her something else, a zircon even? How much could it cost you? The poor kid feels bad.
Try it again?
Why don't you buy her another ring of some kind, an old cheapo, until you make a lot of money, and then you can... They got fakes that look as good as her, no?
No, it's not the real thing.
Not the real thing. All right, number 2 now, you don't feel that there was any psychological connection to this loss of the ring, do you?
No, definitely not.
No, I'm not trying to... Now, number 1, when are you going to get married and where?
July 13th in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, that's swell. You're going to have a big wedding, all the relatives, everything?
I don't know, are we?
Kitty.
Well, now, I must tell you that all 3 of you fellas are very unobservant, and I don't give this marriage very much.
Oh!
Because, number 1, she told us that she cried when she first found out about the ring. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't.
Now, number 2, what was your reaction when you saw it go? Did you say anything, or did you just keep mum?
Well, we both were, pretty upset about it, and we went straight downstairs to the booth, and then we had a long wait until somebody got there, and we were sort of disgusted, and
things were tense.
Oh,
Before my time is up, I want to say I wish you the best of luck, I assure you. I don't wish you any...
Bert,
Thank you very much, Bud. Number 3, your wife admitted to us that she has a history of losing things. Did you know that?
Nothing like a diamond ring.
I know, but now supposing in 4 or 5 years you lose the car key or something, you lose something foolish, and she's going to say, "Why did you do that?" Are you going to say, "The diamond ring"? Are you going to hold it over her head for the rest of her life?
Very possible.
You're that kind of fella, aren't you?
Yeah.
I can see it. Number 1, where did you lose the ring? Whereabouts? In New York City? I want the location, if you don't mind.
On Lexington Avenue in New York
On
City.
Lexington Avenue? Fine.
That's all the time we have, so mark your ballots, if you will. And while you're voting, it's time for the studio audience to vote. Audience, when I say vote, please select number 1, number 2, or number 3. Are you ready? Vote. All right, let's see how our panel voted. Have you all marked your ballots, panel? Okay. Bert, for whom did you vote?
Well, I really haven't got a good clue. They're all in a state of shock, and I think they would be, wouldn't you? Wow. But number 3, boy, Michael O'Hara suits him. Look at that. He's got the map of Ireland on his kisser, and I think that's who he is.
Joanna.
Well, it seems to me that number 1 is out because he would know the details of the wedding. I'm sure she's sharing all this with him. And number 3 just looks like a likely suspect to me.
Orson?
I voted for number 2. I think it might be number 1. He seems to talk to her like he knows her, but I voted for number 2 because it's obvious to me that he's desperately in love with her, whether he's the real one or not.
Kitty Carlisle.
You've stirred up enough trouble in this poor couple.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I think it's number 1 because he seems to have great humor when he talks about her and to her, when he imitated her accent. He has loving humor. And I think you'd have to have that to weather this kind of a terrible mishap.
Oh! Oh, I thought you meant...
Very well. Let's find out who got the most votes from our studio audience. Our audience voted for number 1. All right. Neil, would you please go over and pick out your fiancé, Michael?
It is.
All right, Thank you very much. Number two. Number two, would you tell us who you really are and what you really do?
I'm John Hesmer, and I'm an account executive at Compton Advertising Agency here in New York.
And number three, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Ronald Hayes, and I'm a social worker with the Angel Guardian Home in Brooklyn, New York.
Well, let's see. There have been 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes. That's 3 times $100. $300 coming. You get another ring. Thank you very much. Mike. Now, I know that for a young lawyer, the ring was probably, most lawyers do these things the wrong way, was not insured, right?
Correct.
Was not insured. And a young lawyer isn't going to make that much money right away to replace the one.
Correct.
So on behalf of To Tell the Truth, we would like to present you with this diamond engagement ring from our show. Put it on the young lady right now. Give her a kiss. Thank you all very much.
Ring is an elegant art-carved contemporary engagement ring featuring a wide hand-carved Florentine finish solid gold tank, set off by an 81-point sparkling diamond solitaire.
And Mike and Neil, stay away from subway gratings, will you, please, from now on? No. Now, you all set to go on? Our next guest on To Tell the Truth not only wears pioneer clothes, but still rides the old western trails in a covered wagon. We'll meet her in a minute. First, this word.
Toast 'em toasts in your toaster, right? Wrong. Toast 'em bakes in your toaster. Toast 'em is specially made to bake in your toaster, so the fresh hot pastry bakes up flakier, the luscious fruit filling bakes up juicier. Delicious. Bake yourself a toast 'em right in your toaster. Why don't they call them bake-ems?
Our first house nearly never got built. My wife was so bent on helping the builder. Woman, I said, leave that poor man alone and make us some coffee. Not that kind you've been buying either. Instant Maxwell House coffee. Red jar, good to the last drop. Maxwell House. The instant that tastes like coffee. Be a good little Maxwell housewife, and we'll be happy here for a long time.
Maxwell House coffee. Instant and ground.
And now let's meet our modern-day pioneer lady.
What is your name, please?
My name is Ruth Hefner.
My name is Ruth Hefner.
My name is Ruth Hefner.
We'll play our game with Ruth Hefner in just a minute. Now, this word.
Johnson's Crew. The one that gets everything in your bathroom cleaner because it disinfects as it cleans and gets everything so clean it shines sparkling bright. Crew gets bathrooms really clean, disinfectant clean, and that's as clean as you can get.
This crystal is clear. Clear floor wax is crystal clear on your floors. Clear goes on clear, dries clear, stays clear, and it never yellows. Lets all the natural beauty of your floors show through brilliantly. Clear, the crystal clear look from Johnson Wax.
All right, panel, open up your envelope, if you will, please, and follow along with me. I, Ruth Hefner, with my husband, run vacation wagon trips through the old pioneer country of western Kansas. We really take our guest passengers into the past, They wear pioneer dress and travel and sleep in authentic covered wagons. In the evening, we form the wagons into a circle in case of the Indians' attack, which happen periodically by previous arrangement. When the Indians aren't attacking, we sing and dance around the campfire, and we dine on sourdough biscuits and buffalo stew. By arrangement with dozens of ranchers, we have laid out a route through the open prairie along the old Smoky Hill Trail traveled by Buffalo Bill and General Custer. We call our pioneer tours Wagons Ho. Signed, Ruth Hefner.
This portion of To Tell the Truth was brought to you by Alberto V05, the conditioning hairdressing for lustrous, healthy-looking hair. The next portion of To Tell the Truth is brought to you by Kellogg's of Battle Creek, the best to you each morning.
Panel, here we bring you three ladies, all claiming to be Ruth Hefner. We'll start the cross-examination with Bert Convy. Bert?
Thank you, Bud. I think this is a great idea. I once made a picture in Arizona, and we were out in the open all day for weeks, and it was the best time of my life. Number 3, whose idea was this?
Oh, it was my idea.
It was?
Yes.
Number 1, are you related to a famous Hefner from Chicago by any chance?
Afraid we can't claim that distinction.
Can't claim that, huh? Well, you're not dressed for it, that's for sure. Number 2, what about these Indians now? Are these real Indians that come in the neighborhood, or?
No, they aren't. They're visiting the normal people in our neighborhood and around the surrounding farms.
And they dress up and...
Yes, they do.
Play Indian.
Shoot a couple of
Joanna.
nests. Number 1, are you on diners?
Pardon me?
Are you on diners?
Yes.
That's marvelous. Number 2, I have ridden in various pictures on replicas of covered wagons. They're terribly uncomfortable. What do you do about this?
This is the actual old covered wagon.
Oh, I'm sore just thinking about it. Number 3, do your guests sleep in the wagons?
Yes, they sleep at night in the wagons. I mean, you have...
Orson.
Let me go on with number 3. Now, I'm curious to know what kind of people avail themselves of your service. Are these city folks mostly? Country folks? What? Number 3.
City folks.
City folks? Number 1, do you agree it's city folks?
It's people from all walks of life.
Yeah, all walks of life? Well, like old, young, rich, poor, race, creed, color, whatever, just anything?
Yes, all walks
all
of
different
life.
kinds. Now, number 2, where do most of your folks come from? The environs of Kansas, or?
No, they do not.
They
we
come-
have foreign visitors as well as Easterners,
I can see
Midwesterners.
how, Europeans would want to take a thing like
Kitty.
Number 1, who keeps the wagons in repair?
My husband, Frank.
Thank you. And number 2, where does one go out to buy a covered wagon?
To buy one?
Yeah, where'd you get them from?
Oh, well, we collected them around the state of Kansas.
Oh, and they're authentic?
They are authentic.
And number 3, how much does the trip cost?
Well, for 6 days, it's 24 hours. For 24 hours, it's $25. But you can take a day or 3 days or the...
$25 for 24 hours. And number 1, who does the cooking?
We have a good home economics major who cooks.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have time for in questions. Mark your ballots, panel. And audience, again, when I say vote, please select number 1, number 2, or number 3. Are you ready? Vote! All right, let's see how our panel voted. Are all ballots marked, panel? All right, Bert, for whom did you vote?
Well, I think they're all charming, and their dresses are marvelous. And number 3 looks the part. I can see her sitting, riding shotgun, crossing the boundary between Kansas and on the Muskegee or whatever I'm talking about. And then the Indians come, and she says, "I'll take care of him, Pa." And never mind.
Suddenly the cavalry appears over the hill.
I think it's number 1. She was trying to say Cookie. We all go up to the chuck wagon and we say, "Hey, Cookie, what's for lunch?" Right? And it's what.
Joanna.
Well, I think it's number 1 just because of her accent, and I think that's also probably something that they would have done to us on that show, is to fool us.
Orson.
I am glad to have found out about Bert's movie. I missed it when it was out. He had a great career. Then Talkies came in. I voted for number 1. I think that she has great charm and would make it worthwhile putting up with the rest of it.
And Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I voted for number 2 because she looks as though she has great good humor. And I think if you're going to run that kind of a tour, you have to have enormous good humor and be able to deal with people very sympathetically and with great tact. And I think she would.
All right, we'll find out how our audience voted and meet the real Ruth Hefner in just 1 minute. Right now, this message.
Now, this is the soup for you. It's not so revealing.
Is it time for you to get back into things? Start with smarter eating. Kellogg's famous Special K breakfast, altogether only 240 calories, light but loaded with nutrition. Delicious Special K's loaded with protein and vitamins. Let Kellogg's Special K breakfast help you get back into things.
Not everyone can wear this, but on you, marvelous.
Pop and pour yourself some real fruit flavors. A Kellogg's Instant Party. Pop up a fruit-filled Kellogg's Pop-Tarts pastry. Pour a glass of high-C fruit drink. The instant go-togethers with real fruit flavors. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts, plain or iced. The anywhere, anytime pastry with the freshly preserved whole fruit fillings. And now serve them with delicious fruit drinks. Get the real fruit go-togethers. Pop and pour a Kellogg's Instant Party.
Let's see who got the most votes from our studio audience. Our audience voted for number 2. Very well, it's time to find out which of these 3 ladies is, in truth, a modern-day pioneer lady. Will the real Ruth Hefner please stand up? Thank you very much, Mrs. Hefner. Mrs. Hefner, where are your headquarters?
At Quinter, Kansas.
Quaker?
Quinter.
Oh, Quinter. Quinter, Kansas.
Quinter.
Good. Well, thanks for the story. It's fascinating. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Ruth Herman. I'm the secretary to the Herbert Erlanger Herman Foundation.
Thank you. And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Virginia Cloud, and I work in the adjustment department of Abercrombie & Fitch.
Thank you. And checking the score, we find there were 2 incorrect votes. That's twice $100 or $200 coming your way. Thank you, ladies. It was fun for us. Hope it was for you. Goodbye, and God bless you. We'll be back to our show in 1 minute. Right now, this word.
Maybe you've been buying one type of insect killer for flying insects, another for crawling insects, and another for garden insects. Now Gulf brings you a multi-purpose insecticide that kills flying insects, crawling insects, garden insects. This one multi-purpose insect killer from Gulf is the only one the average family ever needs. Life is now a little simpler.
Thank you, Joanna Barnes, for sitting in for us these last few days. So
It was a great pleasure. Thank you.
Always a joy. Tomorrow we'll have our old friend on the panel, Phyllis Newman. Panel, goodbye to you. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, too. In the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
This portion of To Tell the Truth is brought to you by Kellogg's of Battle Creek, the best to you each morning. To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Johnny Olson speaking. This program was recorded.